Hey, it's Henry from exceptionalmarketer.com. All right, let's say you want to get into affiliate marketing. You see the potential of online marketing, you see the potential of affiliate marketing, and you're really itching to get into it. Well, the question you have is, what's a good niche? Where should I start? What's going to work for me? What's going to waste my time? And what's going to be a successful use of my time? Well, you're about to find out. Let's get into it right now. How to do niche valuation, finding golden niches that may be right under your nose. So let's see what you got to do to evaluate a niche. These are all the steps that are necessary to let you know if the niche you want to pick is a good niche, or if you have no niche in mind, how do you start to find a good niche? Well, the first thing you need is passion. Now, I've heard this numerous times. I've heard people say, find something that you're passionate about, find something that you're interested about, and work on that. And I got to tell you, I disagree. I don't think passion has a whole lot to do with it. You can become an expert today on any topic you want to just by doing research, looking at blog articles on researching Google for blog articles, looking at YouTube for videos. Remember, an expert is somebody who knows just a little bit more than the guy he's talking to. So in order to become an expert in something, you don't need to have a great deal of passion. I will agree that passion does help because if you to prevent burnout, because if it's something you have no interest in, it eventually becomes drudgery to constantly create content for that. You have no interest in it. You may not be happy with it. Even though it makes money, you can potentially burn out. So to me, passion means your niche is passion. Do you have a niche that is passionate about whatever it is you want to promote? And I'm going to give you a perfect example. Do you know any golfers? I happen to have friends who are golfers. I'm not a golfer myself, but I know that golfers are extremely passionate. If a brand new driver comes out and the ad says this driver will add 10 yards to your drive, they're all over it. They want to buy it as soon as they can, regardless of price, even though they may already own a dozen drivers. That is a passionate niche. How about a niche where somebody may have a medical problem? Do you think somebody with a medical problem is going to be passionate to get rid of that problem? So to me, passion means passion in the niche, not so much your passion, although I will agree that it does help. Now, the next thing you have to assess is problems. Are there problems in your niche that you can create, that you can solve? Remember, problems create passion. If we go back to our example of a golfer, if a golfer has a problem, he has to knock his handicap down because he wants to win the club championship, for example. Well, if you can advertise to a golfer that you can show him how to knock strokes off his golf score, you've got his attention. Or how about a medical problem? What if somebody is suffering, for example, from tinnitus? Now, tinnitus is a ringing in your ears. If you suffer from tinnitus, it can drive you nuts because you never get a rest from it. So do you think people who have that type of a problem may have an interest in a product that you have which can solve their problem? You better believe it. So you need to find the problems in your niche that you can solve or that your product can solve. Persona. Now, persona has to do with your audience, has to do with understanding your audience. You need to know your audience. You need to know what their challenges are. You need to know what their problems are. You need to know what keeps them awake at night. You need to create your avatar. What is an avatar? An avatar is basically a picture in your mind of your perfect customer. Who is your perfect customer? What's their age? What's their gender? What's their marital status? What's their income status? And once you know who the perfect customer for your product is, you can talk to him just like you talk to your best friend. So you need to understand who are your potential customers. And if you can understand in any niche who the potential customers are, then you've got a much better chance of being successful in that niche, and the niche may work very well for you. The next thing you have to look at is potential. You need to look at potential in your niche. And there's a number of ways to find out what the potential is. Is the industry growing? Is it shrinking? Or is it static? Let me give you an example of an industry that's currently growing, and not only growing, but growing like wildfire. And that industry is the work at home industry. Because of the pandemic, so many people had to stop going into work. They could not be in an office environment. Many of them couldn't go to work because they lost their jobs. So these people are now sitting at home and they're worried about finances. They're worried about exactly how they're going to go forward. And even if they have their jobs, they're sitting at home and they're worried about security because they see how insecure everything is. Is that a growing industry? Do you think those are people that maybe you could sell courses to, you could sell training to, you could sell software? So there is a lot of potential because it's a growing industry. Let me give you an idea what's a shrinking industry. Today, if you're in commercial real estate, that's a shrinking industry because since the pandemic hit and people couldn't go to work, a lot of employers found out that their workforce can be just as effective sitting at home and working from home than they can be in a fancy office building. So think about the savings there. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay utilities. You don't have to buy office furniture. You don't have to hire a receptionist to answer your phone. You can save all that money. So people who have now figured out that their employees can work from home, are they going back into the commercial real estate and looking to rent office space? That is a shrinking industry. Is the population that needs the product growing? And again, the work at home population is certainly growing. It's exploding. Now, there's other ways you can also check to see what the status is of the potential. You can look at social media. You can see what's going on in social media. You can type in your search term, which is your industry, and you can find out a ton of information in social media about what's exactly going on right now. You can also learn there what the specific problems are that you can now address to your growing audience, your potential audience. You can look at Google Trends. Very simple. Go into Google Trends or Google search volume, type in your term, and you can see a ton of information. As far as Google search volume, you can see how many people are looking and how many results there are for that type, for what you're typing in. You can use a keyword tool like Keywords Everywhere, and it'll tell you how many monthly searches there are for that topic. And you can look at the Google results to see how many results there are for that topic. If that number is growing, you're in a growing industry. Look at Google Trends. It's real simple. Just type in your keyword and take a look at the direction of the graph. If the graph is moving up, you've got yourself a growing industry. Same thing with blogs and any kind of online activity. That'll tell you if there's a lot of activity. Go into Facebook groups and type in your keyword and see how many groups show up, how many people are in the groups, and how much engagement there exists in those groups. And you can also read those groups, the comments, to see what the problems are. And then finally, you can take a look at Google advertising. If you type in a term in the Google search bar and you hit that term, you should initially see a bunch of ads before you see any other results. If there are no ads, chances are the industry is not growing because people who advertise don't want to spend money on it because it's a shrinking industry. But if you see a lot of ads, then you know it's a growing industry because people have indicated the willingness to spend money on that industry. And then finally, products and profits. You need to have a niche that has numerous products. You can't be a one-trick pony. You can't offer one product to your potential market and then have nothing else to offer them. Because getting the traffic initially, getting people to see you, getting the people to know, people who know who you are, read your blog, look at your YouTube video, join your Facebook group, that takes a lot of work. But once you get them in there, you don't want to just make them one offer. You need to have numerous related products that these people may want to use. For example, let's go back to our favorite niche, the golf niche. Well, you've got golf clubs, you've got golf shoes, you've got golf equipment, you've got golf lessons, you've got golf videos and tutorials. You've got a ton of products to offer a golfer, so you're never going to be short of a product. If they don't want to buy product A, they certainly may have an interest in product B. And then finally, is there a value ladder? This is extremely important. What is a value ladder? A value ladder is basically exactly how it sounds. It's a ladder where you progressively move your potential customer from one product to the next product, and each subsequent product is more advanced and more expensive than the one before it. So, for example, you may just introduce an initial product. I know of a huge company that their initial product is $1.99, but their back end products go up to $10,000. So your initial product could be something that's $5, $10, something that has very little resistance for somebody to buy. And once they pull out their credit card and purchase that product, they've now labeled themselves as a buyer, which makes them extremely valuable to you. Now you show them the next product, which may be a little more expensive. So you start at maybe a $7 product and take them up to a $97 product. The next product may be a couple $100. The next product may be a few $1,000s, but you move them along. It's extremely important because now you can take one customer and you can increase the lifetime value of that customer up to a very serious number. And that's how you grow a business. So take a look at all of these different tools and decide. It'll make your life easier to decide exactly what type of niche you want to be into, and if the niche you want to use potentially is a niche that's going to reward you. Until next time, take care of yourself.